this is the finishing stages of the guitar here. We've added the color to the body and the neck. We're getting ready to put on the clear coat pretty soon. First thing is cleaned off the binding. Just taking a straight razor here, razor blade, and scraping off a small top layer of that binding to get some of that color that bled over onto it. Really easy to do, just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience. You definitely want to go slow with this process. I decided to go with a polyurethane finish for a multitude of reasons, time-wise and convenience-wise. You know, I couldn't go with a lacquer because I did this in December and January, so it's way too cold to do a lacquer. Plus, I had to do it indoors. There's no way I'm going to spray lacquer indoors. There's no way for me to get ventilation down in there. So I'm actually doing a wipe-on poly with a piece of steel wool, 000 steel wool. And part of that was to kind of act like a wood filler, because it kind of breaks up some of that wood on there. Downfall to it is it definitely leaves behind some little steel wool bits that you have to be careful about cleaning up. You also want to make sure you don't have any bubbles in there. This was the part of the project I spent the most time researching before I did it, and ultimately it's the part that I like the least, primarily because I'm not very good at it. And in this case, I'd actually done quite a few coats between the steel wool, and I also put on another 1 or 2 layers with a rag to kind of help thicken it up a little bit. And I thought I had it at the right thickness, so I started sanding the back and found out that it definitely was not thick enough. It didn't take me long to sand right through the back. So I ended up sanding off the back and refinishing it, the color on it once more. Yeah, it's definitely an art form in and of itself, finishing the guitar with a clear coat on it. You know, there's a fine line between not enough and too much. The wipe-on poly, I eventually ended up getting as much on there as I felt comfortable with. Sanding and still did not have enough on there, because in some spots I still kept going through the finish, even after doing very light sanding. So eventually I switched to spray-on poly and did a couple coats of that, and I was able to mask off a section of the basement enough to compensate for it, and had to suffer the weather a little bit, but it turned out good. I like it, so enjoy.